All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the January 2025 Leitchfield City Tourism Commission meeting. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We will open the floor to visitors. Looks like first we have Randy Pennington with Black Rock Mafia. Randy, it's all you, man. Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a small itinerary here. First, I want to thank all you guys for helping us out for the past couple of years with your sponsorship for our truck club, car club, truck club,
Glad
bike
to be
club,
part of it.
you know, tractor, the whole deal. Obviously, without that, we would be able to do less. For the 2024 season, which was last year, everything that you guys have helped us with, whether it be advertising locally, verbally, monetary, all that. That's helped us out with apparel for club shirts, Fiddle Festival shirts as well. Obviously, the Elsa's crew over there, we put, you know, we've got their logo on everything that we can possibly put it on, so that gets that out there as well. Yeah. It also helps us with stickers that we pass out to everybody, dash plaques for both shows, our show and the Fiddle Fest, as well as trophies. Then obviously flyers and agendas throughout the season. And then we were able to buy a tent last year, which was a new one, which has got the logo as well. And obviously, you know, represents the county and the city. So, and then obviously banners, which we do every year. Banners change depending on sponsors. So it'll have, and I'll get into that a little bit more. Most of the banners are typically the same every year, but the sponsorships always change. We have some drop off, we pick up new, so it's not always the same. And as far as the banners go, depends on the amount that someone wants to, I guess, donate. And we're a week out from having our meeting for this year to set up the whole year. So I can go over the agenda with you when I get to that, but it won't be as much to talk about as the 24 season because we haven't got into it. Right. So, of course, each month we have a cruise in. We donate items and money to various charities, and that's monthly. That starts in April and ends in October. October is the only one that is different from all the other monthly cruise ins because it is the trunk or treat. So when we finalize that month for the kids, and then we donate to the last charity of the year. Cool. Then basically the charities that we had donated to last year was Animal Shelter, Grayson Manor, Springview Nursing Home, Angel Tree, and there are 5 from schools and 5 from each nursing home that we pick. And when I say 5, that's 5 children and 5 elderly from the homes. Yeah, that's neat. And then, of course, we do veterans every year and Fellowship Cafe. We're not supposed to call it a soup kitchen, but for those that don't know what Fellowship Cafe is, that's technically what it is. Now, sponsors are advertised on a weekly basis through Facebook. Doug is mainly responsible for that. These don't do well for that. I'm not real savvy with the computer. So, and then of course we put together one annual car show, which is Black Rock Mafia, and one annual car show for Fiddle Fest. Now, the only thing that was different last year on the car show is we were able to have it at the fairgrounds. Absolutely smoldering hot. Didn't go as well as we had hoped, but we're changing up the actual date this year, hopefully for a cooler show. Okay, as far as 2025 season goes, projected cost for that's basically going to be apparel for club shirts and Fiddle Fest shirts. That's a ongoing event that happens every year. Stickers, all that stuff changes for the year. Dash plaques again for both car shows as well as trophies. New flyers, new agendas. This year we'll probably do a tent extension, whether it's a smaller tent to go with what we have because the group's growing, and those, just so everyone here knows, and table covers, all of that stuff goes. There's a smaller group of us that try to go out different states, different counties. Now obviously the different states isn't as big of a help We do draw people from Louisville. We do draw from Bardstown, Glasgow, and even Lebanon, Tennessee. We do a Lebanon, Tennessee show every year. There's a lot of people from there that come to our cruise-ins and actually come to the show, and we go to their stuff. So we've got really Glasgow, Bowling Green, Louisville, Bardstown. Those are in Breckenridge County, and then probably Beaver Dam. We do a big Beaver Dam show, so that helps. So that is where we go with these things. So we set up, and it might be 10 of us, it might be 20, but always our main group. And that helps get the town out, get the county out. We're passing out stuff, giving things away.
Sure.
You know, hats, shirts, stuff for kids. Kids like the stickers. So basically that's what happens with all that. That's the whole idea. Try to get people coming here.
Sure.
Like we do for them. Then obviously the banners. That'd be the last thing. Now, like I said, that changes every year. This coming weekend, we will all get together. That's the plan, as long as nobody's sick. We were supposed to get together last week, and we had a couple out sick. So we'll sit down and decide everything we're going to do, try to get it all hashed out, anything that might be different. And then we usually start the whole month of February. We'll go out and foot soldier and try to raise money. So typically February up until the end of March, we'll be trying to raise money like we do every year. And then that'll be a deadline in March, and at that point, that'll give us about a month to get banners made, and we'll know who our sponsors are, and so on and so forth. So that is basically it.
Well, we appreciate all
I
that
haven't
good.
public spoke since I was in high school.
Well, there you go. You did well. We appreciate all the good work you do. About how many members are in your club?
Well, we have about 1,900 followers on Facebook
Wow.
now.
Wow.
Okay.
Which is good. That's growing daily.
Right.
And I might be off on that.
Yeah.
Doug keeps me on
Right.
that. That could be more. Last time I knew, that's what we had.
Mm-hmm.
As far as members, we don't charge money.
Okay, that was my
It
next
is a
question.
voluntary deal altogether. Oh, and I did forget to thank one thing. Since we're here, we've been parking cars now for 3 years at the fair. We were asked to, and we're happy to do it. And I'm not going to lie, that is hard to get people to show up to. And the lower 40 is the worst area in the world to park cars. That sucks. But a bunch of them wanted to quit doing that last year. I've talked everybody in to keep doing it. We do get money for doing that. We do appreciate it. That helps. And just so everyone knows, every dime of this goes back to the community.
That's great.
There's, anyone's welcome to see our bank account anytime they'd like to. My wife, obviously, is the secretary of that. She takes care of it. But we do appreciate that as well. I don't want to not thank everybody for that. So we'll keep doing that even if I got to do it by myself, we'll keep doing it. So,
Be rough.
so I did want to say that.
Yeah.
But going back to your question, ask me that again so I could finish that for you.
Just number of members.
Oh, number of
That's-
members.
that's all.
Our group, like I said, we don't charge anybody, so our immediate group is about 10.
Wow.
And that's the husband, and it's all
Yeah.
husbands and wives. And we're the ones that are mainly responsible for getting together things. So I think we may be putting on another husband and wife couple. I think we maybe have a couple more that have kind of joined up over the winter. So that'd be good. And that's a decent number.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that could fall off, it could grow, but we obviously will take any help we can get. But now, as far as other people, there's lots of people that help with the cruise-ins. They're there every single month. They're older, and a lot of them live down at the lake. Some of them are from Louisville, some are from Bardstown. None of those people are from here, but they're steady. They come every year, they help, pitch in what they can.
Yeah.
So, and then we've got a few others that kind of straggle in and out as they can help, depending on work.
Yeah.
So, all in all, not bad. It's grown pretty decent considering the amount of time we've had.
Guys always have a good turnout.
Yeah, well, we hope.
Yeah.
If it doesn't rain and it's not super
not
hot.
400 degrees.
But we'll keep trying.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. But any other questions?
Not from me. Anyone else?
All right, well, thank
All right.
all of you.
Hey, thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
The big check.
It's time to stand up. You have to stand up.
What?
Daniel, you going up or down?
Going up or down? Stand up here.
Didn't want your head in that picture.
Can we all stand here?
Yeah, we look good. This is good.
Yeah, that's good.
Looks like y'all coming all right. You're lazy today.
Yeah.
So don't forget your go right.
That's a lot of work.
Yes, it
You know,
is.
he does a lot of work.
Yeah, a lot.
Just to give, it's just
A
for,
lot of volunteers, that's
Yeah.
really good. Car show, it's great.
All right. See Jeff Carter out there. It means it's audit time. Floor is yours, Jeff.
Here we go.
Thank you, Ryan and Commissioners. What I passed out before we started was the June 30th, 24 audit report. It's in the binder, and that is what we're going to start with first. And I'm going to take you through it pretty quickly. So if we'll turn to page 3, this is our report on the activities of the City of Leitchfield Tourism Convention Commission. And the commission is a component unit of the City of Leitchfield for the year end June 30th, 24. That's the first paragraph. The second paragraph is the actual opinion paragraph, and that states, in our opinion, the financial statements present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental activities and major fund of the commission as of June 30th, 24, and respective changes financial position. What that is a clean opinion and a modified opinion or unqualified opinion, depending on which terminology you like to use, but it means that there was nothing that needs to be done to these financial statements to make them present any different, that they are true, in fact, and present the activities of the commission. The rest of that report talks about the basis of opinion, the responsibilities for the financial statements, for the audit, and then it talks about the other reports that are in the back of this binder. So with that, what I will move and point out to you is on page 6. Page 6 has some financial highlights right there, those 4 bullet points. It tells that your net position for 24 was $3.1 million. It increased $171,000 over the prior year. Your revenue was $1.4 million. The restaurant was $1,091,000. Hotel was $11,000, and the aquatic center revenue was $319,000. The total expenses was $1.2 million, and your long-term liabilities was $3.2 million, of which $2.7 is still in the aquatic center. Okay. We turn to page 7. That is those numbers I just went over. Kind of it shows the prior year 6/30/23 compared to the current year 6/30/24. So as you can see, your current assets increased $200,000. Capital assets decreased, and that's due to depreciation, around $140,000. Total assets decreased from 6.53 to 6.51, and then your liabilities increased a little bit in current. So you come down to your total net position, increasing from 2.9 to 3.1. On page 8 is a snapshot of your revenues and expenses in comparison to the prior year. So you can see your revenues went from 1.3 to 1.4. Your expenses went from 1.1 to 1.2. Your change in net position, which is the income, is almost the same, $198,000 for 23, $171 for 24, and your net position at the beginning of the year and the end of the year. What I will direct you to next, instead of going through the rest of this analysis, is to page 11 and 12. On page 11 and 12 shows the general fund on the left column, the statement of net position on the right column, and any adjustments to move from a fund basis to a full accrual basis of financial statements. So the general fund had assets of $2.2 million. Those are mostly liquid assets or cash assets. The statement of net position then adds into it the OPEB asset and the fixed assets for the aquatic center and things of that nature to a total of assets $6.5 million. Then you have the required information from the state on the pension and other post-employee benefit plans, deferred outflows in the future of $113,000. You come down, you have your cash liabilities of $67,651, which are due pretty current. And then as you move across, you have your other liabilities that are added in there for bonds and pension and et cetera, which comes up to $3.2 million in liabilities. And then you have your deferred inflows from the pension of $197,000. And then as you come on to page 12, your fund balance is $2.1 million, and your net position is $3.1 million, of which 1.3 is in fixed assets less debt, and the rest of it is 1.7 restricted for tourism. Page 13 explains that adjustment column in a little more detail. Required tells what changes from the governmental fund balance to the net position. Page 14 is your revenues and your expenditures or expenses. And obviously, if we're changing things on the balance sheet to add stuff in, we have to change things in the expenses for the adjustments there. So your fund, your general fund is basically a cash basis fund. So you had revenues of $1.4 million. You had expenditures on the fund of 1.3. You had a change in fund balance of 102,000. As you come across with your adjustments, that was for putting depreciation on and taking off capital outlay and taking off the bond payments. So your revenue is still 1.4. Your expenditures or expenses went down to 1.2. Your change went to 171,000. And your end of year position is 3.1 million. And page 15 explains those adjustments in detail. The next section of your report only covers the footnotes, the information about the Tourism Commission, information about how all these numbers are accounted for, how they get there. And I will point out to you on page 21, this is your capital assets. It shows what the additions, the top part were. It shows that additions, you added about $47,000 in new purchases this year. And then it shows how those assets are depreciating in the bottom on the accumulated depreciation. So you went from 5.8 in fixed assets to 5.9, and then the book value is 4.3 on those assets. Page 22 shows you the bond right there in the bottom quadrant. Shows your bond for the aquatic center. You still owe $2.9 million, and along with $795,000 in interest for a total of 3.7. It shows you in the top part that in $25,000, $170,000 principal's due, $94,000 interest. Shows that for the next 5 years, and then in 5-year increments thereafter until it's paid off in 2037. The rest of this footnotes are, much of it is to do with the pension and employee benefit plans. I'm not going to go over those. Those are required, and those are given to us by the state that need to go in there. If we'll flip to page 37. 37 shows you your budget, your original budget that you started at the beginning of the year, your final budget, and then what actually happened. So as you can see, you budgeted in a final budget of 1.2 million revenues. You actually have 1.45. That's a favorable variance of 231,000. Your expenditures, you budgeted to spend 1.5 million in the final budget. You actually only spent 1.3. It's favorable, $198,000 in savings. You budgeted for a loss of $328,000. You actually had income of $564. It's a favorable $429. And then you have your overlays excess coming in 1.9 in the final budget. It's actually 2 million. Page 38 reconciles this budget and this budget to the actual number to the numbers that we went over earlier and what changes those, because the budget is a pure cash budget. And then the last thing that I'll point out to you, we'll skip to page 47. That is the independent auditor's report on internal control and compliance. And it gives you a definition of deficiencies and significant deficiencies and material weaknesses. And then it tells you, as you read through, that there was no deficiencies or weaknesses noted in the audit. And there is no, on the second page, there is no compliance issues noted in this audit. And then the last paper that I gave you is basically, it's a letter to you as commissioners, and it talks about the significant aspects of the practice. It talks about that there was no difficulties in performing the audit. It shows the one, or actually 2 entries that we made, and those entries actually come from the state of Kentucky. It's to do with the pension and the OPEB plans. It states that there was no disagreements with management, that management has signed the representation letter. To our knowledge, no one is consulted with another accounting firm, and there's no other findings to report to you. Commission, Ron, I appreciate working with you. I appreciate our long-standing relationship that we've had and that we continue to have. And as I always say, it was a pleasure working with Sabrina and Lori and the rest of the staff here and Elsa and getting this information together to present. We'll say that if you all look through this, have questions, ask Sabrina to get a hold of me. I can come back over, sit down, go over each with you one-on-one individually if you want to understand it more in detail, or go over it again in the meeting if we need to. Okay.
Any questions for Jeff while he's here?
No.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you for a clean,
Thank you.
concise report.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. As always, I like to take this opportunity to thank Sabrina and Lori and all their staff too
Yes.
for putting all this work into this. So it didn't just happen overnight, I know. So good work.
Thanks.
So we will need a motion to accept the audit report as
Okay.
presented.
I'll make a motion.
Joyce makes a motion to accept the audit as presented. Any second? Anthony with the second. All in favor with the sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so moved. Thanks again, Jeff. All right, we'll move on with the agenda for today. Next is the minutes from the last meeting. Elsa sent those out a couple weeks ago. Assume everyone got a chance to look over those. If so, we'll take a motion to approve the minutes from November.
I'll make a motion.
Carla with the first. Can I get a second?
Second.
Lindell second. All in favor with the sign of aye. Aye. All right, so moved. Then on to the current financial reports. Looks like Sabrina stepped out. She sent these out, I think, last week. Did everybody have a chance to look over them?
Yeah.
Any questions? Nothing too exciting on them that I noticed. If no questions or comments, we'll take a motion to approve the financials as presented.
So moved.
Anthony, Angie, did I hear a second? Angie second. All in favor with the sign of aye?
Aye.
All right, so moved. Sabrina also just gave us this morning our cash balances and bond balance, which I always like to see, so go over that if you get a chance. No action required. All right, Elsa, old business.
Okay, everyone should have an update that was provided by Retail Coach. We had a Zoom meeting with them the week before last. There's some interesting things in there that look hopeful, but then there are some things that feel like, we had our hopes up and it won't happen in our area.
I think it was a good meeting. I mean, I sat in on it, obviously, with Mayor and Elsa. It's, as they keep saying, it's not an overnight process. It's starting to weigh on me, though, a little bit, that it doesn't seem like we're gaining any traction.
Right.
They assure us they're working on it, making those calls, going to conventions on our behalf.
They're going to conventions on a lot of people's behalf.
They are.
I've had a problem with this for a long time, and I don't want them to get our money, but I feel like they're just kind of trailing us along, just barely keeping us, you know.
I definitely feel like it's a conversation we need to have when we start preparing our budgets. Of course, we are in this 100%. The city splits the cost, and IDC has a
Right.
portion of the cost too, but I think we all need to start considering what we want to do next fiscal year.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with Carla on that.
I mean, there are some things that maybe we're not at liberty to talk about just yet, that might pan out. So there's hope. I mean, we are plugging away at it. I mean, Mayor, do you want to add anything? Really, there's nothing more to add, really.
On top of what they're doing, we're reaching out to some people also. So, it's hard to know with them. I think, they're sitting way off somewhere.
Right.
It's hard to know, but as Brian said, the only bad thing to me is not continue to try,
Mhm.
Well,
attract people.
I'm more hoping you guys getting traction on something than these guys. But there's other options for us too, when the time
Right.
comes. I really like that one girl,
Right.
but
I have a
When's their
question, and I
contract
don't mean to
up?
put you on the spot, Randy,
July,
but do you have any updates for the property on the square? Or-
As far as the sheriff's department.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we're probably 2 months out on foundation plans.
Okay.
That's been a big holdup because I need to be able to get in the basement and dig down as deep as we can go, for head height, to be able to use the basement.
Okay.
We've got plans for that as well, but since we're adding that third-story structure to the top, I have to build a skeleton, if you will, out of steel from the basement all the way through every floor. And it'll be a standalone structure on the top. So all of that is 100% still in the making. The only holdup right now is actually me. We're in E-Town. We've got 11 buildings that we're doing for a company up there. So as soon as that's done, we have a job at Franklin to do, and then we're back here. And I think we're back here for a while. The plan is to get in there, dig down as deep as we can, hopefully to not hit rock. And then I can give him a benchmark. In other words, he needs a solid, literally a solid number on where we're gonna start from, which means I've got to tear all that parking lot up. We've got to get in, I got to give the municipality for drainage and everything. So really the big holdup right now is just figuring out how deep I can go. And once that happens, they're probably a month from that point, finishing the foundation plans. And then we'll be able to come in and start pouring concrete, setting up bolts, and start standing steel. So you'll see a lot happen this. I would love to say that it would be open in some capacity, whether it's one floor or the other, but I think what you'll see this year is a whole lot of construction.
And for those who don't know, what exactly is the vision of what will be in the,
Well, for sure, I know what 2 floors will be. The very top floor will be a roof venue, partially open, partially closed, that you can rent for, and I have drawings on it already. I can share those at some point if anybody likes to see them. It's actually nice. We've not finished the aesthetics on the outside yet, but I have a floor plan. The aesthetics on the outside can't be finished because we don't know how much weight we can hold. So that's all going to depend on coming out of the drain. So that's yet to be determined. The floor plan will stay. I think we'll have roughly, around 5,000 square feet of leasable space for wedding venue, birthday party, whatever someone wants to make a space. There'll be a nice space that turns the L going back into 54. That'll be a big kitchen area. It'll be similar to what you guys have, just larger. And you'll be able to come out in a balcony area that looks out over the whole square. And this will all be 4 season. It'll be glass. throughout most of it, so you'll be able to see everything, be able to open it up. The second story will be all Airbnb loft, so it'll be different from what we have on the square now. They'll kind of look like a tiny home inside of the building. They're really neat. We have those drawn up already. There'll be 3 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 1 bedroom. I think 5 to 6 units.
Okay.
That's happening for sure.
That's cute.
The main floor will be, we've already bought all the hardwood. We have all the HVAC. We have a lot of things in place already. All the demo is completely done. You just can't tell it from outside. But the main dwelling, which was the sheriff's office originally, my hope is for that to be some type of a nice restaurant. We have to get someone here, obviously. I don't think we'll do a homegrown. I don't think it'll work. I don't think it'll work well enough, and I think it needs to be a franchise of some type. As I hate to say that, the name sells, so if we can get someone here, that's the goal. I have looked at a couple of places in Indiana that we visited several times when we do, like Sundays, we'll do a big car cruise sometimes, like once a month. There's a couple of places over in Indiana that we all like to go, excellent food. They are not a franchise as such, but they've been around a long time, and they express some interest in wanting to maybe come over here and look at the property once there was more to look at, I guess you'd say. So I'm not gonna throw that completely out. That would be great if they would come. Their food is really, really good. And it would be a sit-down steakhouse type setting, not to compete with Steak and Stone in any way. It would be totally different. Now, the 54 side, I think we're gonna turn the 54 side, which is the smaller portion, and include it with the basement. And we were gonna try to turn that into like more of a sports bar pub with the ability to have music Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm hoping that his son can help with some of that, maybe. We have a nice courtyard area in the back. That'll all get redone. We'll fix that up. It would somewhat be, I know we're not allowed to basically have a bar or speakeasy, but it would be along those lines, but would fall within the parameters of what it needs to with food and sales of alcohol. I've already spoke with the state on that, and I've spoken with Teddy. Teddy will be the one over the entire thing because it's historical.
Okay.
So the state doesn't have to come in for approval on anything other than elevator. That's another thing. We'll be the only ones that have elevator access. It will go from the sheriff's office main floor to the second floor Airbnb and to the new proposed third floor. I can't do a basement access with the elevator. That puts me into a position where we can't afford it. And it's a whole nother deal. The elevator has to be 3,500. It's a 3,500 pound radiator larger. Money goes out the door exponentially. So we'll have plenty of egress otherwise for the basement. And obviously they're going to make us do a fire escape. So we'll have a nice fire escape that's external. It'll be adjacent to the elevator shaft. So it should be really nice.
It sounds early.
Sounds nice.
It's going to take time.
On the main floor that you're looking to fill for a restaurant, how many square feet roughly is in there?
I think it is roughly, I'm going to say usable space because we're going to use every bit of it.
Right.
The kitchen will be external from what's there now. We're going to knock a wall out and imagine an outside deck. That's the easiest way to explain it. It'll all be built out of steel. It will serve as an overhang for the speakeasy when you come out. So it's going to be dual purpose. So I don't lose any space for a kitchen. I think we're going to have right about 6,000 square feet.
So we need to keep that in mind when we're speaking with Retail Coach too.
Yeah, it will be large. Now, if someone, in my plans for the extension part of 54, that could change if someone came to me and said, hey, we need more room, we want to use all this for a restaurant, we could easily turn the basement into something else as long as I'm not already in the construction phase where it costs me more than it makes sense. So that would be possible. I think we have total space is just under 9 for the whole area. So it's.
So that does not include the kitchen you're going to build onto this? That doesn't include the kitchen area?
And
Right.
The kitchen is determined.
Okay, right.
There is, the kitchen will be laid out a whole lot like what you would see Cracker Barrel. You come in Cracker Barrel, you have the large fireplace in the middle, you have an entry to the kitchen, and you have an exit to the kitchen, and like a horseshoe. It's nice, you don't see anything, it flows good, and that'll also be where our restrooms will be.
Hmm.
They'll be in that addition.
Yeah.
So that's the plan for now for that.
Yeah.
Of course, we have other projects going. I mean, we have the block over there behind the bank. We have that whole city block where we tore down the old house, and we're redoing the big stone home. That'll be Airbnb as well, and that'll be ongoing this summer. So we'll be demoing all that on the inside. That should be pretty neat. And I think we're going to demo the 2 buildings behind the bank.
Hmm.
I think those are coming down. I
Right.
don't think they're worth saving. So we'll have all of that property available to build on. So
Okay.
that'll be something else as well that we can offer.
Well, keep us updated. Our job is to promote those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking.
Sounds great.
As we move on, Parks and Rec.
Okay, on the back of your agenda, you have Tammy's notes, and I think she had some additional things to add this morning.
I handed out to each of you a estimate for landscaping, not landscaping, just kind of proposal for maintenance, not landscaping itself. It used to be contracted out to somebody else, but moving on, we're just looking for somebody that we can have on there on a daily basis or weekly, monthly, whatever it may be. But there's some issues that we have with some of the plants out there. So he wants to do some cleanup and remove some boxwoods. And as the upper portion, that is for the 2393. Well, bottom portion where he has listed for pre and post treatments, those are separate. So, and I did clarify that the 225 for the post treatment, that is per time he goes, every time he goes out there. So that would be May through October, and that is spot spraying and pulling weeds. I don't know if you've ever been out there, but it just seems like weeds like to grow faster than everything else.
Yeah.
So I talked to Sabrina, and we had money that we had carried over for the parking lot, which we had already done. So she said instead of amending that back, she said we could possibly use that money to put towards the landscaping.
Right.
So it is tedious. Terry's been doing it. I've been doing it. Some of the lifeguards have been doing it, and sometimes it's just overbearing. We just can't, or overwhelming, and we just can't keep up with it.
Well, Seth does a good job. He shows up when he's supposed to and does what he's supposed to, so. And that seems reasonable to me, that cost. Any other thought or discussion on any of that? Anybody? We don't need a motion, do we, Sabrina?
Just if you don't care for the
Okay.
minutes, only because that money that I told her that was in there was actually for the parking lot.
Gotcha.
And since we used it last year, I was going to take it out because we didn't really officially have an approval for it this year. So
Okay.
if you all could just approve that. When I'm doing my budget amendments, I'll remember not to take it out if you
Okay.
all make some sort of action
Do we need to
with
approve
it.
the entire annual expense of this?
I
then?
would just say you're allowing her to use the parking lot money to do the landscaping at Peregrine's, and then I will make sure and calculate how
Okay.
much that is total, because we don't know exactly how much.
Right.
So if
Okay.
that's okay with you all. It just helps me when I'm doing my amendments, if I have it in the meeting.
No, I understand. Any more discussion on the landscape at the Aquatic Center?
No.
I guess we need a motion then to take the parking lot money, use it for landscaping this season. Joyce makes first, Angie makes second. All in favor with sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
Thank you very much.
Okay, do we have any updates on pickleball?
I do not have any updates whatsoever.
We are going to
It's
skip.
been really busy.
Okay, we're going to skip down then to Louisville Boat Sport and RV Show. That was wrapped up on Sunday. I thought we made some really good contacts. We had Anthony, Angie, and Joyce. Do you guys have anything you want to add?
No, I felt we made a lot of good contacts, a lot of good stories about the county.
Neat.
Yeah.
Good turnout this year at the show, you think?
Yeah, we worked the first leg of the show. Now, Anthony had Saturday. I think, of course, it's always busier on weekends, but the contacts that we did make during the first leg of the show were really good, solid contacts.
Good.
Were you super busy Saturday, Anthony?
Yeah, it was busy. There was, did talk to 2 or 3 families that are kind of new to the area. One's building, it's been there a year or so. They were a couple familiar, mentioned East Main Market, and that's one thing, and one couple, oh yeah, we know about that.
No, good.
So,
Good to hear.
so yeah, it was good contacts.
I have this at the bottom of the agenda, but I'll go on and talk about
Okay.
it. Last year, Tiffany and I went together with Litchfield Tourism and Grayson County and did a joint magazine. And I think that was really great for us to have at the show, to have lake maps, campgrounds, lodging, restaurants, everything in one location. We also learned things that need to be added and changed to it. So she and I will be starting on the edits for changes and additions in the next month. So we'll have
Okay.
that first state fair.
So that's the tourism magazine and new
Yes.
business? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that magazine was really good. That way we didn't have to fill out all these brochures and stuff.
Yeah,
It was all
it's
in
all
that
in one handy-
magazine.
It's all
Yeah.
just in
So
one
that's
spot.
just our info.
That's just our
Okay.
info. There are some ads that are sold through the newspaper that help lower the cost, but everything else is what we've provided to them
Okay,
that is strictly tourism related.
great.
That is all I have for old business.
On
Anyone
to new
else?
business.
Okay. We did sign a contract with Joseph Haberdank, and we'll be partnering with First Baptist Church. That should be a really good first gospel concert for 2025. Of course, that falls in next fiscal year's budget, and he's $5,000, which is a very reasonable price for that type of act. And we'll be sure to budget that, but I'm really excited.
When will that be? Do you know yet?
August 8th,
August 8th.
yeah.
Be here before you know it.
Loxton Valley Concert. Tiffany has signed contract with Blackstone Cherry, and that will be on May 31st. We do sponsor 10,000 of that, and that's already been budgeted. We sponsor 20,000 toward their concerts each year, but she did turn in the grant application that we have to have on file, and everything looks in order. I think that'll be a really good concert.
I hope so.
We already talked about the tourism magazine. And then on state matching grants, we have submitted our first round of reimbursement, and the second round will be for expenses that incurred January through June. So hopefully we can turn those in before June and then get that round back in.
Okay.
Everyone was given a copy of their financial interest statements. If you have not given those to me or Lori, please do so before you leave. Oh, and in your packet, you have a copy of an upcoming event. I can't find mine. It's the Blackjack and Black Tie event that's put on by Twin Lakes Skate Park. So you have information in your packet, and it tells you how to order tickets if you're interested in going. I can't find mine, but you have the information. And it should be a really good time. It's at Arborstone Vineyard.
That'll be neat.
Yeah, and that's to raise money for the proposed skate park.
So do you buy tickets at the door, or do you need to?
No, you
know?
get them, do you have them in yours?
It doesn't really say how to get tickets that I see.
You get them online.
Probably a
Oh,
link
here
through
it is,
Facebook.
sorry.
That's the one
I'll
that's
send
on
that to you.
where they
It's on Facebook, but they have a link that you go to online, and you can just order the tickets there. Then
Okay.
they text you the ticket or email
Gotcha.
it to you, and you do it.
Okay,
And that's on their Facebook page, Twin Lakes Skate Park Project.
okay. Be neat.
are. Yeah,
That's all I have.
I have something.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I don't know if it was mentioned, I'm sorry, I stepped out with Jeff, but everybody should have a copy of the cash and cash equivalents, if you can put that in the minutes, just for information. If you have any questions on that, obviously, you all know, get a hold of me, and I'll explain any of that. Also, I'm getting ready to leave, but when I get back, March, we'll kind of start working budget a little bit.
Okay.
So I know last year we had a couple people from the commission, so that we don't have a quorum or anything like that, just maybe a couple people that want to work on that with me and Elsa. I think that worked really great last year. Elsa, do you agree?
It did.
So if you all want to start thinking about if you want to use the same people, if you want to do different people, however, but the next meeting, just start thinking about it so that we can kind of coordinate with,
Okay.
and start kind of planning those meetings and get that underway. I just wanted to put that bug in your all's ear.
No, appreciate it.
That's
So
all
be
I got.
thinking about that. We'll come up with, I guess, 3 people, right?
Yeah, that
For
would
the
be not a
audit
quorum,
committee
right?
or
Is 3?
budget committee.
Does 3 make a quorum?
No.
Okay, yeah.
So, all right, we'll name them
Yeah,
next
it's
time.
not a committee, it'll just be.
Right. I know what you mean. All right, any other new business?
Okay, yeah, baby.
All right, hearing none, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Angie, Lindell,
Second.
all in favor, sign of aye. All right.